What's up, YouTube? We're back with another video, and today we have our daily recap of last night's NBA playoff games. And I mean, all the games just last night were great games, no blowouts. It was extremely entertaining to watch. And I want to start with talking about the Bucks and the Bulls because I really want to talk about them, and especially I really want to talk about DeMar DeRozan. Obviously, as usual, there's a big overreaction to this Bulls win, just like there's overreaction to the Timberwolves win in Game 1. There's overreactions to the Pelicans win a few days ago. There's going to be overreaction when teams win sort of unexpectedly. There's going to be an overreaction from the media and from fans. So I'm going to kind of discuss what the Bucks and the Bulls is. This Bulls win, is this something that we will see more of in the series, or is this going to be their final win? And how is this series how do I think the series is gonna shake up? Obviously, the major story of last night's Bulls Bucks game was DeMar DeRozan playing 44 minutes and dropping 41 points, 4 assists, and 7 rebounds on extremely efficient 16 for 31 shooting. It's a little bit over 50% from the field, which is fantastic because last game, in Game 1 of this series where the Bucks won, DeRozan had an insanely bad game, only dropping 18 points while shooting 6 for 25 from the field. But DeRozan managed to step up big in this game and really help the Bulls get this 4-point win. But there were many other factors than just DeRozan to this win. For example, Nikola Vucevic had a 24-point, 13 rebound game on extremely efficient numbers, shooting around almost 60% from the field. You had Alex Caruso dropping 10 assists and doing his thing defensively, getting 2 steals and 2 blocks. You had Zach LaVine dropping 20 points on extremely efficient numbers. Patrick Williams had a much better game this game than last game. You know, he's recently come back off his injury. He had a solid game, almost a double-double. Shot pretty efficiently. I've seen a lot of people start to think that this Bucks team is not what it was last year. And that to me seems very, very far-fetched. Yes, Middleton and Holiday have not been playing in the way we expected them to, especially Holiday, who shot 6 for 16 from the field yesterday, shot 6 for 16 from the field in Game 1, hasn't dropped more than 15 points yet. He's turning over the ball way too often. He had 6 turnovers yesterday, 4 turnovers in Game 1. Middleton had 7 turnovers in Game 1. He had 4 turnovers yesterday. These 2 players that are all-star caliber players are just not playing how we expect them to, and how they really how they should be playing, because this is not how if they continue to play like this, I will agree with people that are saying that this isn't the same team as last year, because if Holiday and Middleton can't get it together, this team is not a championship team. I mean, because clearly Giannis doing his thing isn't enough, as he had 33 points, 18 rebounds, and 9 assists yesterday, and they still lost. If Holiday and Middleton can't step it up, they have a real chance at losing this first round's playoff matchup. Next, I want to talk about the Nets-Celtics game, and now that they are up 2-0, statistically, when teams go up 2-0 in the playoffs, in a playoff series, they have a 92% chance at winning that series. So basically, the Nets only have an 8% chance to get out of the first round currently. And I mean, I had them in my previous video where I predicted the playoffs. I had them going all the way to the finals, the Celtics. I mean, they look like a finals contending team because they held the Kevin Durant, who many people consider the best offensive player of all time, to shoot 4 for 17 from the field and not hit a single shot in the entire second half. They held him to go 0 for 10 in the second half. Fantastic defense from the Celtics. They are the best defensive team in the league. They can run out their big ball lineup with Horford and Tice and Tatum and Smart and Brown, or they could bring in Grant Williams and run their small ball lineup. I mean, this team will be disgusting once Robert Williams comes back, who is a top 10 defender in the league. I mean, they don't even have him on the court right now. Obviously, the Nets are missing another fantastic player, another fantastic defender, Ben Simmons. But to me, the Nets would still have lost this game yesterday, even if they had Ben Simmons, because their problem wasn't defense. It wasn't their playmaking ability. It was clearly the fact that they couldn't get the ball to go in the hoop, and Simmons doesn't help much with that. So I mean, I think if if both these teams are fully healthy, the Celtics would have still won last night. It's not like Kyrie had a good game either. He shot 4 for 13 from the field, only had 10 points. But as of right now, I still think the Celtics are winning this series. I mean, I've never seen a team stop Durant the way they did. It was just phenomenal. And not only did they stop Kevin Durant, but they also stopped Kyrie Irving. I've never seen a team that has been able to stop Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, two of the best offensive players of all time. I mean, this Celtics team is scary. They won without any of their players having phenomenal games, really. Jaylen Brown notably had 22 points, but on 9 for 18 shooting, which 9 for 18 from the field, which is pretty good. But Jason Tatum, their superstar player, only had 19 points and shot a horrible 5 for 16 from the field. Yes, he had 10 assists, which is definitely something where Tatum's improving on his passing ability. Last game, I think he had 8 or 7 assists in the first half. So Tatum's becoming a fantastic playmaker. And I mean, and that's something that Kevin Durant wasn't able to do. Whereas Tatum was not having the best game scoring wise. So he was able to kind of become a facilitator for the team. Whereas Durant and Irving were not able to do that. With Durant only having 5 assists and Irving having 1 assist. They aren't the same level of playmakers that I think Tatum is. And obviously you had the defensive player of the year, Marcus Smart, had a very good game. The stats don't show it, but he was drawing charges. He was forcing players. He was forcing offensive fouls. He was just playing a fantastic game. Al Horford had another great game, just like last game 1. He had 16 points, hit 3 big threes. Grant Williams came off the bench and had 17 and shooting 4 for 4 from the field. He didn't miss. Derek White was good. Pritchard was phenomenal. Somebody you wouldn't even expect to be in the game. And towards the end of the game, you wouldn't expect Pritchard to be in, but he was in and he was hitting threes. He was just great. I mean, I'm really interested to see how the Nets and especially Kevin Durant bounce back from this 2-0 deficit. Obviously, they could still win this series, but the odds are heavily against them, with them now statistically, historically, only having a 8% chance at winning this series. Obviously, the last game we're going to talk about is a game that went to overtime between the Sixers and the Raptors. I was so wrong about this series. I had before the playoffs started, I predicted the Raptors to win this series in 7. Currently, they're down 3-0. They had a chance last night to make this a good series and make it 2-1. But now that they're down 3-0, I think they might win the next game at home, and then they'll be out. But there's a very good chance that this ends up being a sweep. They came out, the Raptors, to start the game. They had a big lead in the first 2 quarters. Throughout the entire first 2 quarters, they had a big lead. They came out with energy. They came out with defense. They came out with, everything was clicking for the Raptors at the beginning of the game. Anunoby was lights out from 3. And so was Gary Trent. And Achua was also phenomenal in that first half. But the main problem with the Raptors was what happened in that second half when they kind of fell apart and they let the Sixers back into the game. The main reason that happened isn't because the Sixers played phenomenally, which they did. The problem was that Van Vliet only had 12 points and Siakam only had 12 points. And Van Vliet shot 3 for 13 from the field. Siakam shot 6 for 16 from the field. And when your star players like Siakam and Van Vliet, who are your 2 best players, are not having good games whatsoever, and those are your 2 go-to playmakers, you can't look to Anunoby to create his own shot, and you can't really look to Trent to create his own shot. He can do it at times, but he's not really a good shot creator. He's not a good playmaker. Neither is Anunoby. And when Van Vliet and Siakam are just not playing like themselves, you're almost destined to kind of fall apart in that second half, and that's exactly what happened. Obviously, the Sixers had a phenomenal game. Embiid dropping 33 points, 13 rebounds, obviously hitting the game-winning fadeaway 3 to seal the game and win by 3 points. But Maxey had another great game, dropping 19 points, shooting about almost 50% from the field. You had James Harden, who did end up fouling out, but he still had a double-double with 19 points, 10 assists. shooting 7 for 13 from the field. Overall, this whole Sixers team had an extremely efficient night. Something they do need to look out for is their turnovers. If they want to sweep this Raptors, they're going to have to lower it down in the turnovers, as their whole starting lineup had multiple turnovers. Embiid had 6, Maxey had 5, Harden had 3, Harris had 3, Danny Green had 2, even Paul Reed, who only got 9 minutes off the bench, had 2 turnovers. It was just disgusting. There was a lot of turnovers. The Sixers were fouling a lot. Harden obviously fouled out. Green had 4 fouls. Embiid and Maxey both had 3 fouls. So that's something they're going to want to tone down if they want to sweep this Raptors team, because I'm sure the Raptors are going to come back next game and they're going to be hungry, because Siakam and VanVleet just had such bad games. They turned the ball over. They were fouling. Siakam was in foul trouble the whole game. He had 5 fouls. Neither Siakam or VanVleet were looking like the all-star players that they are. Like Siakam, I predicted him to be All-NBA second team because he just had a phenomenal regular season, but he has not looked good in this playoff so far. So I'm really interested to see what Nick Nurse will come out with next game to try to win and try to avoid a full-on sweep. I mean, Nick Nurse is possibly the best coach in the entire league. I'm really interested to see what Nurse will come out with next game and what the Raptors will come out with next game. But really the main problem with the Raptors is they brought the first half intensity, the energy, it all looked right. They looked like they looked like how they were in the regular season, and then all of a sudden that second half came around and all that energy was just vanished, and the Sixers just started to take over, and mainly Embiid. But this Sixers team is scary, and I wouldn't be shocked if they end up in the finals when it's all said and done. Probably one of the best nights of playoff basketball we've had to start the playoffs this year. But anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. I'm out.